We pick up the book, Chapter 4, Poker Face. The masked ball was in full swing. The hedonistic music struck home in all the right places. The champagne and other juices flowed. Poirot Clown tugged at his clown fit, which came away in one. He wore a cream-coloured tuxedo with a red carnation, burgundy shirt and black trousers. It was in startling contrast to the remains of the clown face the mysterious intruder still wore. Wearing a pair of black leather gloves, Poirot Clown entered the bathroom and placed the Dupois crest on top of a shaving cabinet mirror. He washed away what was left of the clown makeup, revealing the familiar features of Alexander Dramascus. For a time, the actor looked tainted by the crime, before congratulating himself in the mirror. Dramascus blew up a breathalyzer bag, manoeuvred the makeup sediments into it, and tied it with a knot. He then attached a traditional clown's red nose to the front with a drop of glue, adding the cone-shaped hat and wig. Pocketing the crest, Dramascus returned into the master bedroom. He slid a palm through a temple of hair en route to the four-poster, on which he draped the clown fit. Dramascus leant over and secured the head to the clown costume. He felt for the strong coil in his jacket pocket. The headlights of the Dupois car guided its occupants unerringly closer to home. Minutes later, Dramascus gazed out over the Dupois grounds, a Riviera breeze ruffling his hair. He tested the strength of the coil tied to the balcony on the veranda prior to returning inside. Dramascus sat down on the edge of the bed and produced a Sony Walkman. He pressed play on track 3 and The Girl from Ipanema, sung by Astrid Gilberto, began to soothe him. Dramascus removed a champagne-coloured invitation card from an inside jacket pocket, which read, "I, the undersigned, take great privilege in extending you belated invitation to a robbery. Signed." Dramascus uncorked a bottle of vintage champagne to one side of the bed and poured a glass. He was ready to sign the card when the sound of the Dupois vehicle roaring up the drive stopped him in his tracks. Jacques Dupois exited the car sharply. Simone Dupois stepped from the vehicle, aided by the chauffeur. Her attention immediately caught by the sight of a light on in the master bedroom. Something, or someone, pulled away from the open veranda window. Dramascus dimmed the lights and, regaining his composure, returned to the bed to sign the card. The Masquerader. This he still managed to do with an elaborate flourish. He placed the card reverentially on top of the clown costume. The Dupois appeared in the hallway, frozen in shock. Simone rushed directly to Jacques Jr., her son, who was stirring from his slumbers. Jacques headed straight for the spiral staircase, trotting all the way along it like a demented marionette. On reaching the summit, Jacques heard music coming from the master bedroom. Jacques hammered loudly on the door. "I give you to the count of 3. As it was, Jacques didn't, but a chest of drawers Dramascus had positioned behind the door would give him some breathing space. Dramascus dropped the gilt-edged mask on the four-poster bed to complete the ensemble. Then, wishing he had switched the lights off altogether, made his way to the veranda. Jake shoved the chest of drawers back enough to allow him into the room. He took in the exposed safe, the crashed chandelier, and the Masquerader ensemble on the bed in seconds, then caught a glimpse of the shadow of the thief attaching himself to the coil on the veranda balcony prior to climbing over. Looking feverishly around, Jake's eyes alighted on an antique bronze poker to one side of a hold-up fireplace. Jake ran to snatch it from its moorings, proceeding straight for the veranda. By now, the thief's body was just beginning its descent, clutching the coil. With supreme accuracy and evident relish, Jake brought the antique poker smashing down onto the thief's left wrist. Dramascus prepared to drop the distance from the veranda when he felt immobilized by a burning pain. For a second or two, Dramascus sought its precise location, howling soundlessly as he felt a hard object strike his left hand, leaving it badly bruised and bloodied. Dramascus was sure he would never be able to open a safe again, when the tension in the coil evaporated and he plunged freefall into the bushes. Dramascus landed as he should and rolled up, grimacing as his left hand contacted the ground. There was just one scene to play out before he could kiss his place goodbye. Jakes peered down into the bushes. He heard movement and fired a couple of shots in the general direction of them. Remembering the exterior alarm, Jakes ran back into the master bedroom to activate it. Distracted by the overpowering noise, the chauffeur turned a fraction too early. In so doing, he caught sight of a giant fist about to block out his lights. Within seconds, Dramascus stole the keys and positioned himself behind the wheel of the car, which gleamed in the moonlight. He switched on the ignition and looked anxiously towards the veranda. Tripping up over the chandelier, Jakes could not control his haste to get back onto the veranda. When he got there, he could not see the car headlights, only the moon's reflection off the windscreen, moving soundlessly down the drive backwards at some speed. Jakes pointed a gun. It would soon be too late. The windscreen shattered. Dramascus cursed and shielded his eyes. For a second, it hung together like a spider's web prior to collapsing askew in all directions. He knocked out the remaining glass with his free hand, narrowly missing the next bullet. Jakes attempted to shoot out the tyres, so Dramascus veered to the left. Instead, the bullet ricocheted off the personalised licence plate. Dramascus had trained his mind to be unaffected by the sound of alarms, yet the volume on this one, afforded by the villa's relatively isolated location, was the highest he had encountered. It would only take a moment to interpret the subtly shifting incidental rhythm and be sidetracked. Increasing speed, Dramascus continued the deliberately erratic backward motion of the car, tyres straining on gravel. It was not easy, executed more or less on one hand. Nevertheless, it delayed Jakes' reactions. The next couple of shots went astray. The main gate started to close. Dramascus knew this would be Simone, finding a way of reactivating the immobilised system. He was determined to get past the gates and wondered if Jakes had now positively identified him. The Frenchman made to fire again, but the chamber was now empty. In the time he had reloaded, Dramascus swung back out onto the adjacent drive and replaced the image of the Dupois villa with the leafy, tree-lined road. Regardless of the intense pain in his left hand, Dramascus erupted into a fit of infectious laughter.